Good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor McFadden. Welcome to our June monthly meeting. It's June 15th, 7 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and let's rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Oh, I'll conduct the roll call. Trustee Casker.
Here.
Trustee Shaw.
Present.
Trustee Scherer.
Present.
Mayor McFadden, present. Absent, Trustee Brooke. Okay, so I'm going to move right into minutes and reports. Other than to say, to remind everybody that we have a village election coming up, and we have Trustee Casker and Trustee Shaw running unopposed. And I would just like to say it's been a pleasure working with both of them. And for the last 2 years, they played a critical role in what we've done. And I'm looking forward to another year and hopefully beyond that. And I want to remind everybody to please pick up your absentee ballot or show up on the 21st of June and cast your vote. Thank you very much.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay, so let's start with reports. Jeff?
So we have been continuing doing work at Weewalt Park. We put in a new flagpole. Built some new anchors for the raft and readjusted, done by someone else earlier. We've been working on patching areas where we've had water leaks, fixing up the roads where we've fixed leaks. We installed a new water pump up at the Mountain Farm pump station. When we turned the water on to start the pump up, we found a seal that must have got broken during shipping.
Oh, that's too bad.
So as soon as we get the new seal, we'll put that in and that'll be up and running. We also installed a few new sign down by the keep. We also installed a hose bib at the back of the keep for watering plants. And
When you say the back of the keep, so it's on the exit side?
no, it's where you come in.
Okay.
Right in the back of the building.
Oh,
where
okay,
the gate
great.
Is you walk in the back, there's an air conditioning unit.
Okay, so we can attach a hose there and hit the garden in front of the lodge as well as those plants we have there.
Yeah.
Oh, terrific.
We also did some work, not work, but on the Weewalt Dam. In the spring, we have to put a few stop blocks in to raise the lake level to what it should be for the swimming season. Also, I was supposed to meet Monday with the paving contractor that got the county contract, but he couldn't make it. I'm meeting him tomorrow morning, mid-morning, to give us prices on a bunch of different roads.
And then you'll make your recommendation to the board.
Correct.
Would you like to do it earlier this year?
Yes, definitely.
So if we were to make a decision at the July meeting, would that be helpful? Or should we call a special meeting?
I will, when I meet with him tomorrow, let me see what his schedule is. If he's, getting backed up. We'll
Yeah,
do a
if you have to
special
lock them in now, maybe I'll get the approval from the board just to choose them with you or something like that. So, all right, it's in the budget. And like last year, what we did is we looked at the worst ones and just backed that right into the budget. Thank you. Anything else? Well, again, thank you for what you guys have been doing at the Weewalt. You also moved the slide and the toys.
Oh, yeah, we relocated
Yeah.
toys that were in the
Yeah,
stand
and
area.
it's just been great for the people using the Weewalt. It's really, really appreciated. Thank you. Chief?
Okay,
Okay, so for the month of May, we had 281 calls for service, 3 more vehicle accidents or property damage. As promised, we increased our traffic enforcement. And
Oh,
we
a lot
issued
more tickets.
15 summonses and 19 warnings,
Wow.
and that's going to continue throughout the summer
Mhm.
as traffic has increased. We responded to 4 fire calls, 4 intrusion alarms. We had 4 medical calls. We assisted the town police twice. We were assisted once. We patrolled 2,910 miles and approximately 841 vehicles came through the gate. So it's starting to increase.
Do you coordinate with Elizabeth to charge people who've had more false alarms than they're allowed according to the code?
Denise is on that.
Denise is on
Denise does it every couple of days. It seems like we're sending out a new letter.
What a shame. And would you like to make a report on the automatic gate, how it's progressing?
Yes, so the automatic gate, well, starting July 1st, because now the school's over, we're gonna, the non-resident tags are not gonna be honored. People are gonna have to stop and be vetted. And we're gonna start taking those tags back. That's for the non-resident. We're encouraging people that have business here that are here every day, we're encouraging them to get registered in the system. One issue that we've been having is somewhere from the time that they write their plate number down and it comes to Denise, it's usually the wrong plate number. So a lot of people are coming in saying, the gate's not working for me. And then we verify the plate and they're writing down the wrong letter or the wrong number or something like that.
Right.
That's the only issue that we've been having. But
Now, you promised me you wouldn't say that about my cars.
I'm not gonna say who it was.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing that I would like to mention is, I had an officer recently, attend a 5-day training course, and he's now certified as a child passenger safety seat technician. So it's a free service for our residents to, install, inspect car seats. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration states that about 46 to 47% of car seats are installed incorrectly. So utilize the service, let Officer Levy just attended the course. He's certified. He works every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So if the appointment, come down and we'll install your seat the right way.
Now, one final follow-up on the gate. So now that school's over, other than the people that live in the park and administration and so forth, I imagine you can now deactivate those cars from the system so that the parents can't have access
Correct,
during the summer.
correct.
Okay,
Denise has already done that.
thank you very much.
When she put them in, she gave them a certain date.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And that's what's good about that system is we can put in dates and times when they have access.
mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. John, do you want to give any report?
Yeah, just briefly, we have 3 matters before the village justice. They're all being overseen by the village attorney, and they are proceeding a little slow, but they are proceeding. The Pays project on Tower Hill Road is going well. So is the Rifkin project on Westlake Road. We have a number of other items that are happening on the Nicholson's construction of a pool started about 2 weeks ago. Harris 71 Lorelei Road received the variance from the BZA for a side yard setback. They're scheduled to return to the bar for final approval. Gretty at 32 Lookout Road, framing new interior walls is completed. Insulation is almost finished and the finished rough-in inspection is done. That's 32 Lookout Road. Klein at 130 Continental Road. They're proceeding pretty well on the interior renovation of the home. And Stetsenko and Krantz, 18 Pedersen Brook Road, went to the Board of Architecture review regarding window and door and driveway changes, and that project is proceeding well. We also were in touch with a real estate agent who's not familiar with the village code, and I had to notify them regarding our requirements or that we don't allow open houses, essentially. So, and from best I can tell, they complied with our request. that they don't allow people just to drive into the village and drive
By
out of the
appointment.
village. By appointment. They have somebody has to meet them at the front gate and then bring them back to the front gate when they're done.
Mhm.
Under miscellaneous items, met with Jeff Off to develop a project list and schedule, for the next few weeks. Working obviously with the mayor regarding the Weewah Park setup for the summer. We successfully were able to close East Lake Road for a few hours to allow the owners at 154 East Lake Road to cut down some large trees. Started to prepare a list of surplus equipment that we'll auction off hopefully within the next month. We have 4 or 5 items right here, and we'll go down to the DPW and see what else we can get rid of that we haven't used in some time. And a handful of other items, but all fairly positive.
Are you gathering quotes for the steamer?
Yes, we have one quote for a steamer, and I sent a request to the state to see if they have any items on state bid.
Mhm.
It's kind of a particular item. Jeff couldn't locate anything on the
Warm
state
and
bid.
cold water.
So I sent them an
110.
email.
And will it be on wheels?
Yeah.
Yes,
Good, so we can bring it to different areas if we need to.
it's a fairly large unit. I mean, it's
Mhm.
mobile, but it's a fairly large
Mhm.
unit.
Mhm.
So that's it pretty much in summary. We do have a request from Jack Perna on Lookout Stable Road for a road cut.
Let me see, I think I have that under new business. Yeah, that's 9E.
Okay.
Why don't you describe it to the board, please?
Yes, Mr. Perna purchased a vacant lot at the end of Lookout Stable Road. The lot does not have any official driveway or a road cut. In accordance with the village code 83.1, the village board has to approve any road cuts. Also, Mr. Perna has provided evidence regarding a hardship that connecting to the village sewer system is cost preventative. And he's requesting permission not to connect to the village sewer system and to construct a septic field on site that has to be approved by the Orange County Health Department and the village engineer.
What's your recommendation in terms of approval?
I recommend that the village board approves both items.
Thank you. Do you want to also briefly discuss the road cuts at the Tuxedo Club, which comes up also in new business?
Yes, last week I received an email from the club manager that they've decided to forego the majority of the changes that they had proposed before the Board of Architects review last year. They'll only be proceeding with the work directly in front of the main entrance to the club. And with that, they are modifying the road entranceway. So now there'll be actually 2 entrances or 2 cuts. And that also should have Board of Trustee approval.
And you recommend that we approve that?
Yes, I don't see any difficulty in doing that. They are not increasing or decreasing any site distances.
Now, I believe it's going to have conditions that approval.
The road cut will have a condition that the plan that they're presenting matches the plan that they presented to the Board of Architecture review
Okay,
approximately a year ago.
okay, I see that. We have that resolution. Okay.
Yep.
Now, in terms of minutes, any other reports? You wanted to mention something about a job opening?
About, well, yesterday I had the pleasure of going to the racetrack and taking a walk with Chu Yin. And it's such an oasis of calm going in there. Beautiful to look at. And if you just sit and listen, the birds are chirping. It's just very, very,
Should
very,
we
very
move the
nice.
village office there?
Oh, yes, please. But I don't think we'd be welcome, unfortunately. But I just wanted to just get the word out about it. It's just such a beautiful place to visit. And they're always looking for people to help out with more of the physical end of things like weeding and planting. And even though that may sound like a chore, in a place like that, it's not. It's just very, very nice. So you can experience the racetrack and do something very worthy and good at the same time and good for the community.
Thank you for sharing that.
So if anybody is interested, if you don't mind, I'll just say the email address to contact would be TP as in Tuxedo Park, tptreeboard@gmail.com. Thank you.
tptreeboard@gmail.com.
Yes.
Terrific, thank you. Now, in terms of minutes, I don't know if you ever did have a chance, you sent out one set of minutes, but not the other, correct? So which, is it May 18th or
That's
May
correct.
26th that we're
18th.
approving? Okay, so I'll just alert everybody on the consent agenda. 7B, approved minutes from May 18th, 2022. Okay, let's review the consent agenda, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Public comments. Does anyone on the Zoom call have a comment they'd like to make? Okay, comment section is closed. Let's move on to the consent agenda. We have add all written reports to the permanent record, approve minutes from May 18th, 2022. Authorization to hire machine technician George Ruggiero to work on election day for 175. What's that all about? You added that, yeah.
Okay, he's the machine technician. We had him last year as well.
Mhm.
And I don't get that information later until closer to the election day, and that's why it's
No
the last
problem.
one that we do, yeah.
And with D, do you have a,
So that basically, we've already picked the people to work, they've already agreed to it, and we have the alternates, but every once in a while, something happens the day of election, something unforeseen, and somebody cannot show up. So just in case we have to make a last minute substitution, that I can pick anybody from the list. They're all qualified and,
terrific.
yeah, so.
Thank you for the explanation. Then we have authorization to renew Vimeo contract for next year at $495.54. Anybody have any questions about that?
And what do we use?
We post all of our meetings, and I believe that this new law we might be passing also requires that other boards
Do it.
post it. And they're supposed to have agendas and all this stuff on the website, so we'll see. And then we already did F, everybody, so let's cross that out. Any questions before I call the resolution? Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda, letters A through E. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to old business. Now, if you don't mind, Josh, I'm going to ask you to just speak briefly about what this is. We're going to be scheduling a public hearing for 6:50, July 20th, in the Village Hall, and by Zoom, of course, to have a discussion regarding draft local law 5, a local law creating a community choice aggregation program. The liaison to that program is Trustee Share. So I'll just ask him to briefly describe for everyone what that is.
Great. And our lawyer can help clarify if I mess up any of it. But it's basically a law that will allow us to purchase power, the focus being on renewables, renewable power on an opt-out basis. So we can basically aggregate our community purchasing power. The town recently just passed this. It doesn't obligate us to do anything. It just gives us the option to go down that path if we so choose. I don't know, Brian, if you want to add
I think
anything.
it was a pretty good summary. It's really just that ability to aggregate communities. Sometimes it's done at a county level where the various communities participate together and work with a particular consortium. So
Now, I'll add that we've so far had 2 presentations.
That's right. Jeff Domansky.
Jeff Demansky, who presented to the town, and that was at the last meeting. And also, what's the name of Charles' company?
Charles, it's Good Energy.
Good Energy also gave us a presentation. And whether we look at a third or not, I'm not sure, but when the time comes to it, we'll have the second presentation available to the public.
can I say one thing, Mayor?
Absolutely.
It's nothing to do with the program.
That's right.
Unless there's a real reason for it, I would recommend that we schedule these public hearings at 7 o'clock. I'm not sure why the village or why they've done it at 6:50, if there's some reason.
There's some mayor that is just pissing me off. I don't know why he's doing it. So you agree with me? 7 o'clock.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank God someone's stepped in and straightened that former mayor out.
This isn't giving you
Yeah.
much, so.
Unbelievable. All right, so be it resolved that the Board of Trustees schedule a public hearing for 7 PM on July 20th, 2022 in the Village Hall and by Zoom for draft local law number 5, a local law creating a community choice aggregation program. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you. Moving on. A resolution to approve draft local law Number 4. Who did that? Use of video conferencing for municipal meetings. So does anyone have any questions before we do that? Okay, yeah. Nope. It should be 5. Yeah, it should be 5.
So the difference
Yeah, it
is,
should be 6.
if you don't mind me saying, you have draft laws, and then when they become final, they're laws. And the numbering is different sometimes. In this case, they're different. So we're up to, that was draft law, local law number 4. The aggregate is draft local law number 5. But
Mhm.
once local law number 4 becomes final, it's local law number 5.
Mhm. So
It's-
what would you like me to use for the video conferencing one? What number?
It's draft local law number 4.
4.
And
Okay.
when
Yeah,
we,
I'm sorry, when you're adopting now, right?
right, and when you
So-
adopt it, it's number 5.
So your resolution now is going to be adopt, so it's not draft. So you'll be
Right.
saying a motion to a resolution to adopt local law.
6.
No, local law
5.
number 5.
5.
Yep.
Yeah, no longer draft.
Thank you. Be it resolved, Board of Trustees approve draft local law number 5,
Local law.
local
No draft.
strike draft, local law number 5, use of video conferencing for municipal meetings. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, now, before we move on, Tinka, myself, and John, and information from Elizabeth, we have gotten in a quote to counter the company Marshall and Sterling that we've been using for 10, 20 years. I'm not exactly sure.
The resolution for the rules and procedures on that follows that local law. We need to do a resolution now.
Let's do that. Why don't you read that?
Yeah, I'll read that. If
Yep.
somebody just wants to adopt the motion, sorry to
Yep.
interrupt that. This will be a resolution to adopt the rules and procedures for video conferencing as presented to the village board to be effective on the same date as local law number 5 becomes effective.
Adopt that. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was
Aye.
listed as B in the, okay, thank you, Brian. After that, I hope I can put this embarrassing last few minutes behind me and move on with a bit of confidence. All right, so the several meetings ago, we discussed that we are going to be getting a quote against our current insurance company. Marshall and Sterling is the office that administrates Argonaut, which is the insurance itself, insurance company. And we did it because it's our fiscal responsibility to do that as fiduciaries, to see if there's going to be a difference, to see if there's differences in coverage and so forth. So we took several months to carefully assess, provide information, and so on to travelers. And they came in about $30,000 less. I strongly recommend that we switch carriers. Does anyone have any questions?
So did you compare the two?
Yes, yes, we did it. I did a comparison matrix, which I sent out. We're getting additional, I'll just give you one example. We have lifeguards, even though it's a third party. We also have the town camp. And we are now covered for any incidents that might happen between a counselor, a lifeguard, and an individual camp member or a member of the WEWA. So we're covered for that. And unfortunately, well, our other company did not address that. Another example would be that while both organizations offer insurances per building, what I liked about Travelers was that they said, look, we're going to raise the coverage you have on these buildings because the cost of replacing these buildings partially or wholly is now much larger with inflation.
Yeah.
And with the cost of steel, that's 50% up, et cetera, the supply chain. So they increased it in anticipation that if there was a problem, we'd be in better shape. The other organization didn't, and we would find ourselves short if we had to replace. So, and there's many examples. but I highly recommend it. I think the service is going to be excellent. The way that they asked for information and the amount of information that we provided was eye-opening, I think, for all of us, in terms of understanding our assets and how the insurance works and so forth. So I think this is going to be terrific moving forward. I know that they're very interested in the account and they want to, work with us and take us to the next level, so on and so forth. But yeah, I'm excited about it. How do you guys feel?
Sounds great.
Chris?
Can I just add, I think the fact that we're getting $1 million of cyber insurance up from $100,000 is a very big deal, especially in today's day and age. And cyber insurance is incredibly expensive. So the fact that you guys are able to negotiate a deal at quite a savings to the village with all this extra coverage is quite an accomplishment.
Well, thank you very much to the team. That goes to the team. That said, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve insurance company Travelers to replace our existing carrier. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chris? In favor? Your,
Yes.
yes.
I
Okay,
saw a
thank
little
you.
yellow thing when I said aye, but
Okay, sorry. Okay, I think I've saved my reputation. All right, new business. This is regarding the sewer rates. As you may recall, we passed a local law in the spring, which called for the formation of a sewer fund. And one of the aspects of that was that we would, by resolution, pass rates. And thank you, Brian, for setting us up. Now, I recommend that we take the advice of the consultant and go with option 3. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Okay.
Good job.
Yes, where are we?
8A.
Oh,
At the bottom.
be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve, Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve sewer rates in option 3 recommended by Amawak Consulting Corp. LLC. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next, we
hey,
have
I'm sorry, Mayor, just to clarify, it's 3A.
3A. Thank you. I'll read
Yeah.
that. I'll reread that. Thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve sewer rates in option 3A recommended by Amawak Consulting Group LLC. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we have a accounting firm that we're very pleased with. This I think will be our 3rd or 4th year. Cooper Arias. And they've sent us the engagement letter at 19. Do we know what it was before?
Check.
I don't know.
Okay, so should we wait on that? I assume it's,
Check now?
I assume that, yeah, if you can. Okay, I'll move on. The installation of a 25-mile-per-hour sign on Westlake Road near Summit. Now, is that near the
That's the
Hennessy House?
It's very close to the Hennessy
The
House.
Hanson House. Oh, or you would do it by the Hennessy or up on Summit?
We want to do it between Summit and Hennessy, so
Mhm.
if we can find a location.
Is that a bad spot?
There has been an increase in accidents there. And, it's a downhill.
Yeah.
People do speed there. Now the school's out, there's not as much traffic going through there, but
Mhm.
still, it is it has been a trouble spot.
So you recommend it?
I recommend it.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the installation of a 25-mile-per-hour sign on Westlake Road near Summit Road. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, can we have a quick discussion on that?
Yes, yes.
No, you vote on it. It's approved.
Well, I mean, it's a suggested,
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you something after you voted.
okay.
Not
Yes,
related to that.
yes, Chris.
We're talking the yellow 25 mph sign?
Yes, sir.
Not a
It's
speed limit,
non-enforceable.
okay.
It's a non-enforceable
Okay.
sign. It's a suggestion, but yes, good
Great.
question, Chris.
Okay, I just want to clarify, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yes, sir.
So I was just gonna share with you, there is a bill, I know it passed both houses, like right now in a village, you can only set an area speed limit. But then you don't need these linear signs if you put like on the outskirts of the village, a sign that says, for example,
The
village
whole-
speed limit. Right now, it can only be 30. So there is a bill that passed both houses. I don't know if it's been delivered to the governor. to Allow the village to do an area speed limit of 25. Right now, if you want 25, you have to do what's called linear posting and put it on a specific street. If this bill gets enacted, then you will be able to set, if you want, 25 as the village speed limit. And then all you have to do is make sure you cover all the entrances to the village, and those are the only signs you would really
Oh, so we
need.
could get rid of all interior signs.
You really could, as long as you cover the incoming streets with a area speed limit 25 at that point.
That'd be
Nice.
so great.
I know.
Yeah, so I'll keep you posted if it,
Thank you very much.
I think that's what we have. We don't.
Scoofus is running for Congress.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
18,000.
few, if any.
yeah.
All right, so Elizabeth just reported that last year, Cooper Arias was 18,000. This year, they're asking 1,000% increase to 19.
$1,000 increase,
What did I say?
1,000%.
I said, we'll check the tape. Um, Elizabeth, what do you recommend? I mean, how do you think their services are? I find them to be terrific.
Yes, I think that they're
I
responsive.
find them to be very responsive. John?
Yes, I don't have any trouble with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions, Chris? Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees engage Cooper Arias for 2022 audit at the cost of $19,000. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is a resolution to approve the renewal of village subscription to ICLEI. And that is what, $600? Yeah.
I thought our bill was 300, then I thought maybe that was the town and us. So,
Mhm.
and I just didn't get a chance to look into it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
This little thing that I put there was for you to look up, so you wouldn't have to. Do you know anything about it?
I
About the
don't.
program?
I'm checking. I don't. I know.
Oh, okay, I do know what it is. It gives us the access to a software program that we can plug in exhaust numbers, mileage of cars. It's all about understanding how much energy we're using as a village and using this program to calculate it. It's a wonderful tool that Jim Hayes says he really needs. I know that the last year they've used it extensively.
Mhm.
And so I would recommend that we do it. I'm going to say as long as it's under $1,000, since we don't know a number.
And I can add to what you just said.
Please.
Because I pulled up the email. So I guess Jim and others have used it, Jim Hayes and others have used it over the past year to help calculate greenhouse gas emissions for the base year of 2018. And during the coming year, it will be used to make forecasts and develop a climate action plan for the village government operations and the community at large.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
All right, so be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the renewal of the village subscription to ICLEI on the condition that the renewal is under $1,000. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, John recommended that we accept Jack Perma's request for road cut and septic. Before we move forward, do any of the trustees have a question for John?
Yeah, I do. And I meant to call you earlier and I didn't. Does this lot go through a site plan approval?
Yes, it's currently before the planning board and the Board of Architectural Review.
Okay. So can we make a conditional approval based on any changes they recommend? I feel like we don't have a whole lot of information. It's going to go through a lot of expertise
Right,
for,
right.
final approval.
No, you're right.
And-
We're caught between a stone and a hard place because next meeting, they'll already have that information. So we're trying to fast track that. But yeah, let's make it conditional.
Yeah,
That
because
it
if the
matches
planning
the
board,
existing site plan.
yeah, if the planning board brings up things that we haven't considered, I'd hate to, put them in a corner.
Right, right. I agree 100%.
Now, is there any way to turn the volume up for him? Or no?
It's a bit light.
So John,
Yes, sir.
do you think that's acceptable to put a condition on it that it
Yeah.
matches the,
Well, there's nothing to match. We can make it consistent with the planning board approval,
Mhm.
that they would also have to review the septic, which our
on
engineer
the
would.
condition of,
The condition of not having to connect to the.
when is this
village's
going
source.
before the board? The planning board and all that?
It'll go before the BAR the beginning of July and probably the end of July, the planning board.
Okay, so why don't we wait till July? Is that a problem?
No,
Okay, because that will resolve all of our concerns.
Mhm.
Is everyone in agreement?
I'm fine with that.
Or, honestly, we can delegate that authority to the planning board based on our last law.
Right, we can do that as well. So I think we should,
if I can say, the issue that I think is before the trustees is the matter of the hardship.
the hardship.
That Mr. Perna has submitted evidence signed by a licensed engineer that the cost to put in a septic pump ejector system would cost approximately, I think it was $242,000. The sewer from Mr. Perna's property to the closest connection point was approximately 800 feet. That's the reason for the expense.
Mhm.
And the cost to do a septic field, as Mr. Favela, an engineer hired by Mr. Perna, has signed to, is $22,500.
Right,
So the real issue before the trustees, is this a hardship worthy of granting
Right.
this
so
exception?
we could certainly separate those out.
Sure.
And I think that is a hardship.
Mhm.
And I would support granting that hardship. I'd like a proper resolution though. Maybe Brian, you could help me write out a resolution with John briefly, while I move on.
Okay.
And just to make sure I'm covering everything.
Again, though, if this is going to go in front of the planning board again, and we're going to have our engineers look at this, does it make sense
Yes.
to just wait for our engineer to concur that, yes, they're not missing anything that's really going to cost that much?
Well, let's decide. What do you want to do? Do you want to wait on both?
John, it sounds like, we can wait, but
You can,
Yeah, but
it's
is
not,
there a reason?
Yeah, is there a reason to wait? Let's just get everything in the resolution that Chris is referring to
Yeah.
and pass that, not the road cut, but the septic. We don't want them thinking that they're going to have to come back and they might not get it. That's kind of the customer service aspect.
well,
of it.
that's why I've advised the applicant at this point that he really needs to seek these approvals, the road cut and the sewer. Otherwise, no sense going back to the planning board or the bar.
I
Right.
would just get it over.
So,
I agree. Let, conditional on planning board's
Right.
concurrence.
okay,
That's
somebody,
fine.
somebody write it up for me and we'll pass both.
Okay.
I wrote it up. Did you see what I wrote up?
There are two resolutions in
I
there.
did write them in front of.
That's right.
I don't know
On
if
the
you
next
added
page.
to it, but-
Yeah, I
Sorry.
clubbed first, and then I put Jack Perna's the second page.
Oh, okay.
The last one, I think, is the sewer.
Connection with public sewer.
Yeah, I just wrote them there. They're in the packet.
Okay.
They're there.
Road cut and John, thank you.
Well,
Wow,
be it resolved.
that was quick. I didn't even see you staple it to my back. Unbelievable.
All right.
Okay,
Worked on that together in a few minutes.
but does it address the conditional aspect?
I did put on their approval from the Orange County Health Department and the village engineer. If you want to add the planning board, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. That's the road cut.
The last one on the, what are we reading from something?
Now, we want to say,
Oh, wait.
it doesn't, let's see, road cut located in- doesn't, it says previously approved by the Board of Architectural Review and, yeah,
Well, that's the one you got from the, this is John's,
This is John's.
and I guess this is another one.
John, do you want to just say conditioned on the approvals determined necessary by the building inspector? Leave it generic.
That would cover it, and I can assure you that would include the health department, the village engineer, and the planning board.
Why don't you just do that?
Here, just mark that up for me.
In case we miss anyone, you'll be covered.
You just earned tonight's stipend, man. That was amazing. Set both of them up. Good points, Chris. Thank you.
That's the sewer. And,
This could be a record.
That'd be great.
I mean, we're taking our time. It's not
uh,
I agree.
a thorough job.
It's amazing.
The approval of the Board of Architecture review is the one. But that I,
Mhm. So did you write in the resolutions, John, where you want me to add your name according to the building inspector?
yeah, if you want to,
Yeah, I do, because I want to get it right.
yeah, the Tuxedo Club is only going back to the Board of Architecture review. That's the one on the bottom of that page. And then the top of the next page,
Okay, so let's do the resolution first on the road cut for Jack Perma.
sure,
Okay.
next. No, I think it's right there.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees, in accordance with Village Code Section 83-1, permit required, the village board approves the addition of one additional road cut next to the existing road cut located at the main entrance.
That's for the club.
Yeah,
Oh, I have the wrong title there, with the wrong title.
Okay. All right. The wrong title. See, I'm not the only one, audience. Okay, so which one is it?
That's the perna for the septic.
All right, and where's the perma for the, where's the perna for the
I think
road cut?
That's a good sign.
Yes, it is a good sign.
He made the right point.
Because it's really important to get that sewer information out, because lawsuits can come flying if you don't use transparency.
I agree,
And so we went above and beyond.
for sure.
Jeff, you don't have to hang out.
You sure?
Yeah, you know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Appreciate what you guys are doing.
So I don't know if you want to tell the audience at some point that Monday is a holiday, it's the federal holiday for Juneteenth.
Is it in our
Yes, it is.
annual?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll deal with that. Yeah. It's a federal holiday.
Yes, it's a federal holiday. The
Okay.
DPW guys were wondering
No
if
problem.
they had off. I said, I'm sure you
It,
would.
it depends on if it was put into our annual.
I'm sorry, Tika,
Yes.
but request onto Lookout Stable Road, just add that. I struck out the part for the club, just add, it's a road cut
You
request.
read it.
Really?
And
I'll
I'll
read it.
accept it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Too many minds
Okay.
go.
Okay. All right.
All right, if I may, this is for the road cut for Jack Perna, Lookout Stable Road. Be it resolved that in accordance with Village Code Section 83-1, permit required, the village board approves the road cut request onto Lookout Stable Road for the lot owned by Jack Perna.
Thank you, John. That's acceptable to us. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And lastly, this is for the connection of the sewer system hardship. Be it resolved that in accordance with Village Code Section 78-5, connection to public sewer required, the village board approves the hardship request submitted by Jack Perna, provided the septic plan is approved by the Orange County Health Department, the village engineer, the building inspector, and the planning board.
Thank you, John. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. John, since you're doing so well, why don't you just explain the club and what we're doing with the road cuts?
Tuxedo Club manager sent me an email last weekend advising me that they will only be paving the existing delivery access point. They will not be modifying the delivery access point, nor will they be modifying the club employee parking lot. But they will proceed with the plan that was approved over a year ago for the main entranceway to the club. The major difference there, which requires permission from the trustees, is they'll be adding one extra exit or entrance.
Okay. Would you like to read the resolution?
Be it resolved that in accordance with the village code, section 83-1, permit required, the village board approved one additional road cut next to the existing road cut located in the main entrance of the Tuxedo Club, provided the plan, revised plan, matches the plan that was previously approved by the Board of Architectural Review.
We'll accept that, John. Thank you. You have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And that, look, this is, it won't be hung up for field. Okay, terrific. All right, let's move on to budget transfers. And before we do, John recommends that we move something from the general fund to the sewer fund. Did you have an amount in mind?
You know, doing some rough calculations, since we will not really have any major revenue end of October.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to support the system from now till at least then. I recommend that we move 50,000 from the general fund to the sewer fund that we created.
Very good.
And then we'll look at things November 1st to see where we are.
So do you want to put that in your other resolutions? Moving 50,000 from the general fund to the sewer fund
Okay.
as part of our budget transfers?
Sure.
Thank you. And do you have other budget transfers?
No, I do not.
Okay, so would you like to make that resolution?
Be it resolved that the board approve the transfer of $50,000 from the general fund to the sewer fund.
Thank you very much. May I have a second?
Second,
All in favor? All right.
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So I would like to thank those that attended our public meeting. The board is going to go into executive session to discuss litigation, a new employee hire, the PVA contract negotiations, and several water accounts. And then we will be returning if you'd like to stand by. So thank you very much for attending. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees exit the public meeting and move to executive session. It is 7:47. May I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right, John, let
Aye.
us know when the recording's off and
Ryan, do you want to put them all in the waiting room? This way you have.
I don't think you made me co-host, so I.
I did.
But
Okay.
before you had Chris Castro's.
I had
There.
both.
You too.
Chief, thank you.
Am I staying or not?
No.
Sure. Okay.
No.
Have a good night.
Oh, yeah, for the PVA, sure. Right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Invited guests. Let's start with the PVA
Are we?
when we're available and ready,
Wait,
when I get the word.
Let Brian change.
All right, I got the meeting room, so it's just the meeting room, myself and.
We need to start recording, right?
Because we are recording.
All recording stops.
This is off.